All right. Good morning. Haven't been around for a bit, and I'm probably not going to be back for a little while yet again with these projects because I have a family emergency, but I got a few minutes this morning and I decided I have acquired a ring light, so I'm trying that out. I'll probably make a shade with it. No. It's pretty good at getting rid of the shade, but we'll see what happens. But I set up to glue, old medication prescription bottle again. I used JB Weld to attach a bit of copper pipe for the spigot, and I had an extra one of these banjo connections from the old radiator on the ETX, and I'm going to put this on here as a just an open top reservoir so it doesn't pressurize, because currently this system is sealed and so it pressurizes a bit, and I think that may have been part of why the seal failed on the pump. But also, if it's not pressurized, then it's easier for me to get the fill it and watch it pump and keep an eye on the coolant system. So we'll start with this is a 9mm fitting on the banjo fitting there. I just unhook that and pull the silicone tubing off, and the system keeps a bubble in the top, and so it's not running any water out the top because of that bubble. And pull the nut out of here, and this really mangled O-ring, and then the small O-ring in here is also not very good. I ended up just applying sealant to the outside of this, and a teeny bit of sealant on the outside of this banjo fitting was enough to keep the pressure in because it's a very low pressure thing. But since I have those new O-rings here, I'm going to replace this one and this one. Let me find the appropriate small one first. And I did all that trying out with the first set when I did the pump, but I did not make a note of which ones those were. So, alright, that little one looks like it's going to go in there, and I bought these in I don't know what material the green is, but it's a little softer and not the rubber style. I forget if that's silicone or Viton or what, but and I got this fat style that I think is the correct fit for there. Yep, that's a good fit on that. So new that small one is just fitting in way too easily to the fitting. Well, maybe that's a better fit. I was going for tight around here, but if I make it so it's seats in the banjo fitting first. Maybe that will compress it in a little bit instead of making it compress out. So you can see it fits there. And now when I just push on it, there's a little gap there, so when I tighten it down, it should compress into that joint. And then this one goes like that. Oh, except I gotta put this through from the right side. I want it to be on this side. There. Oh, and I already spot my problem with this plan. Getting this hose back on under there before I hook the tank up is going to be a pain. So let's figure out how this hose is going to run. If I do that, that should work. And if I leave it, yeah, I don't want that big loop in it, so I'll have to cut it off about here. Yeah. But that's the thing I don't have with me, is a thing to cut this off with. I put a bunch of tools away, and I apparently put the cutting tools away. Alright, I will be right back with a cutting tool. Okay, I went and grabbed the scissors, snipped that extra length of tube off, and this should be a nice fit right there, and it won't provide, and it's not going to be a big long spot with a bubble in it, because the idea, of course, is that filling this tank with water means that it can push the air out through the radiator, and then the pump will pump it. Water will go from here through the radiator, the pump will pump it up through the cylinder, and then it'll spill back out, or the cylinder jacket, and then it'll spill back out into this open tank. So, well, the JB weld holds really well if you give it the full 24 hours to cure, but you still shouldn't, like, there. And be careful that I don't put too much pressure on the joint. There. And there. Actually, that pipe is still a bit long, so. Oh, I know how I can route that. There. Hold this around under like that, and then that'll get that loop so it's out of the way. There. And then make sure all my rings are on. There we go. Turn this back this way and hold that steady while we tighten it. And see that new O-ring is compressed in there on this side, and that's this replacement, and that has to be a big fat one so it can squeeze out and seal against the curve of the cylinder, because the cylinder's curved but that banjo fitting is flat, and that should be a good seal. But we will try it out when I get a chance to fill this with water and check it over. But that is that modification for today, and when I get a chance to come back, we'll check to see if this fills with water properly the way I want it to, and we'll also be able to go and play with that generator box again. But for now, I'm going to pick up all the O-rings I just dropped on the floor and go take care of some personal business for a few weeks. So